guys, welcome back to another episode of Off Axis Builds. We got a fun little project today on my brother's Jeep. He wanted to build a shelf in the back, so I said, sure, let's take a look at it. We took a look at it, we got some templates made, and they said, let's do it this weekend. I said, okay, why not? Well, went ahead and made the plans to do it this weekend. And it's not as easy as a project as you may think if you know any carpentry. Let's take a look at what I had to load up here. Yeah, that's right. I need all those tools to build this project. Most people think, oh man, that's going to be a quick, easy job. You just cut some plywood, cut some 2x4s, and you'll be done. Yeah. It's been a while since I've had all these tools loaded up in any of my vehicles because I haven't been in construction in a long time. So, yeah, chop saw, table saw, compressor. What else here? I got skill saw, got my sawzall, just in case I need something to cut. Let's see what else I have. Jigsaw, cords, you name it, it's pretty much in here. So yeah, that's the gist of it. Let's go ahead and take a look at his car, or not car, his Jeep, and get going on this project. So we'll see you guys in a few minutes when I get over there. Alright guys, so this is the template we made the other day to follow the sides of the Jeep. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is making a platform about 9 inches off the ground. Okay, so he can put some things underneath and be able to put 2 dog crates up here. What was going on before, you had the dog crate in here and just stuff laying all over the place. We're trying to organize it a little bit better. Right now we're going to be building it on top of the 2 seats. Eventually he may be taking those out so he can use all that as storage as well. We haven't quite decided if we want to go that route. Now, like I said, this is just a temporary fix for a problem that he needs to take care of. Eventually we're going to be building probably an aluminum box in here, make it nice with a couple drawers and then a small area for some sort of slide out of something. So that's the plan with this. We went ahead and made 2 templates. After I did that, I realized both sides are identical, so you really only need to make 1 template. Trace on one side of the plywood, trace on the other side of the plywood, and you're done. So what the plan here is, we're going to be putting 2 2x10s. I got to rip them down. I think they're about, I want to say about 8 1/4. I'm going to be ripping them down to. Putting a 1/4 inch piece of plywood just so you have something to slide everything on, make it nice and smooth down here, and then the top will have 1/2 inch plywood. Okay, so it'll be 1x10, 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 and then across the top we'll do 1x10. And you guys will be able to see what's going on once we start building this thing. Okay, like I said, it's temporary, but I'm still going to make it strong enough to be able to hold everything. Probably, honestly, he'll probably use this for the next year or 2. So that's the plan. Let's go ahead and dive into it and start cutting some plywood. Alright guys, so the back of his Jeep is 40 1/4. So we're going to find the center of this, which is 2 feet, because plywoods are 4 foot wide. We'll find the center, make a mark there, and then I'll split 40 1/4, which is 20 1/8 both directions. And that is where I will put this. Okay, it's actually more like that. Okay, up here it's going to be 48 inches. So it'll be the edge of the plywood, edge of the plywood. The only thing I'm cutting out is these things on both sides. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this thing marked and ready to go. Once I get these things trimmed out, then I'll cut the length, because if I don't like it, I can always shorten things up and recut it. Okay. so this is the point where I'm going to take the template and go ahead and line it up to that point and that point there. So we can just go ahead and do that and that there, okay? And that's how much I'm going to cut out on both sides. Alright guys, so I'm going to be cutting this with a skill saw. When you cut plywood, finished plywood, you want to cut from the back side because the saw blade is going to cut through and that cuts down on the chipping on the finished side, okay? You'll still see chipping on the back side, but you won't see it on the finished side. Okay, so what I did here, you take a measurement from your saw blade to here, it's 3.5 inches. I went ahead and put a guide here 3.5 inches off my cut line. So I'll have a perfectly straight cut when I go ahead and cut straight through, okay? Now, alright guys, so I went ahead and marked where the supports are going to go. I'm making 3 40-inch supports at 7 1/4 height, 8 1/4 height. The reason for that is because this will be 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch from the bottom. We want the finish height to be 9 inches. So this one is going to be on this side of the line, this one will be on the inside of the line. This is a center mark, but I want this board to be on center side to move it over 3/8 of an inch, and it will actually be on this line coming this direction. So we're going to cut 4 pieces of the 2x10s at 40 inches long, and then I'll rip them down on the table saw at, like I said, 8 1/4. Alright guys, so at this point I have the plywood cut. We had to trim it down to make the freezer work and to make the space work for the tent to go underneath it. So we're going to do a little bit of adjustment there, but all this is the same. What we're going to do is I'm going to put some wood glue along this edge here, okay? We'll slide it up underneath here, and then I'm going to nail it down, okay? Once that's done, I'm going to do on all 3, and then we're going to go ahead and flip it over, and I'll get a piece of plywood cut to go on the bottom edge, and I'll do the same thing.
Dad.
Alright, so I have a line on the top and on the bottom, so I know exactly where it's going to sit and where I need to nail. Okay.
The bent.
My air compressor's off. one other thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to trim this edge off so it can fit easily into the Jeep. I think what I'll do is I'll cut about 1/2 inch away from this guy on both sides and just rip it straight down. Alright guys, so on this front edge we're going to put a piece of metal here. It's going to help support this bow here, and it's also going to protect this edge from just anything getting slid in. This is going to be almost underneath the carpet, or it's going to be very low, so you won't even be able to hit this. But this thing will probably get damaged over time. So what I'm going to do is take my skill saw and just make a little notch here on each one of these things, and then we're going to slide the piece of metal in there and glue that in. We'll probably epoxy it in. The only reason for that is because it's going to be a little tough to get any kind of attachment to the wood. So I think we'll just epoxy it in there, and I think that's going to be plenty strong enough. Alright guys, so we got this thing built. We have it in 2 sections. The reason why we did that is because we needed to raise up the section in the front to allow the crates to fit back here underneath the roll bar, and to allow the spacing for the tent underneath that front section. So I'll go ahead and take you around and show you what we did up there. What's nice is he's got 2 spots here for storage. One's he's going to be using for a ramp, the other one just odds and ends, probably chairs or something. And then he was able to put a tent, like an easy up type tent in the front, and then he's going to put a refrigerator on the front section. So like I said, it comes apart in 2 sections. It just kind of snaps on top of the other one. Once the weight's on, you won't really notice it in 2 sections. But for now, we're just test fitting it. We're going to actually pull it out and put rubberized spray liner on it. So came out pretty decent, pretty happy with it. Let's go ahead and show you underneath, and then also show you the front. Alright, coming up underneath here, he's got 2 holes, a little dark, you can't really tell, but like I said, they're about 40 inches deep. Put whatever you need in there, you know, a couple chairs, his dog ramp. Coming around over here, this is where the tent is. Okay, so we raised it up so we can fit the tent underneath there, and then also he can fit his cooler from up here. There's somewhere in there, it's hard to tell. And then it'll just mount to the bottom with a slide out. So let's go ahead and get that slide out mounted, and then we'll go ahead and finish painting all this. So as I said before, it is in 2 sections, so this section can come out. Okay, just snaps in. So this thing is easy to remove because we did it in 2 sections. This section will just lift up and tilt out. Okay. How'd you get this in? There you go. And then you should be able to just slide it right out.